So the title of this video asks the question whether or not it's worth getting an ultra short throw in 2024. And to answer that question, we need to first take a step back and ask why you might want to pick one over a standard ceiling mounted projector. The biggest reason someone may choose a UST is the ease of installation. Instead of having to run cables up the wall and through the ceiling, you can simply place the UST in front of the screen and pretty much the job is done. Another reason is for the additional brightness that you get from having the projector so close to the wall. Not as much distance is required for the light to travel up to the screen, resulting in a brighter image with the same amount of light output. The price of a UST projector is also usually cheaper than their ceiling mounted counterparts, and with models like the LTV 3000 Pro, you get 4K, tri-laser with a very long lifespan, so it's the kind of device that you could use to replace your TV or use in a dedicated home cinema. Some of the reasons that you may not want to use a UST over a standard projector are the compromise of missing out on a center speaker, as they both occupy the same position, unless you have something like my setup which has the speakers behind the screen. UST projectors often have issues with focus uniformity, which isn't as much of an issue with a long throw projector as it's projecting straight ahead instead of the complex optics required to make a square image while projecting upward toward a screen at a strong angle. There are a number of other pros and cons between standard and long throw projectors, so if this is something that you'd be interested in learning more about, why not drop a comment down below and I might just make that video. The UST projector is also a viable replacement for TV if you wanted to get image sizes over 120 inches, and with decent light control in your room, you can just set it down at the base of your screen on a TV unit and start watching. Having the projector at the base of the screen also means that no one can walk in front of it and interrupt the image. So when weighing up the question when I had the idea for this video, in my testing of the LTV 3000 Pro, there are three standout things to me that make this UST a viable option for a dedicated home cinema and something to consider in place of a ceiling mounted projector or TV. In my opinion, Dolby Vision is going to be the next standard when it comes to HDR content delivery in 2024, and as such, more and more projectors are going to need to support it. If you look at most new TV series and movies on Netflix or Disney Plus, they all support Dolby Vision, and pretty much every new UHD disc release has a Dolby Vision track included. To explain, Dolby Vision is a special tone mapping or color grading that is done to footage to improve the colors, brightness and contrast. And while HDR10 was considered a big step up from SDR, I also think that Dolby Vision is that next level of picture quality when it comes to HDR. So the LTV 3000 Pro from AWOL Vision supports Dolby Vision natively, which means that if your source can play Dolby Vision, it can be output naturally, which is rare for a projector. There are now a few projectors that can support Dolby Vision, but the brightness and contrast of the LTV 3000 Pro really helps with rendering a beautiful image and making it more adept at displaying the way it was intended. As you can see from the demos, there is more saturation and brightness when comparing the same footage in Dolby Vision versus HDR10. If you're anything like me, just knowing that there is tone mapping for Dolby Vision and not having the support in your display would really annoy me, so having something like the LTV 3000 Pro means that you don't have to think about it. You can pretty much just watch anything and know that you're watching it as the director intended. My tests are all done with my Zidu media player and an Apple TV 4K, which both support Dolby Vision. The screen is a 120-inch acoustically transparent screen in a completely light-controlled dedicated home cinema with Crick speakers and a Trinnov Altitude 16 processor. I used my dedicated room rather than my upstairs room so that I could show you the performance in the best possible conditions. Anyone who has watched my videos for any length of time will know that until recently I never bothered with 3D and often made comments that it was a fad and I really didn't like it. After being challenged in the comment section of a video, I decided to give it a go, and now I have a growing collection of 3D movies in my library. The LTV 3000 Pro supports 3D content, and as such, I have been giving it a go and enjoying watching 3D movies. You can order the glasses to go with the LTV 3000 Pro from the links down in the description, and they are nice and light, and once you're watching a movie, you don't even notice that you're wearing them. It's impossible for me to show you a 3D movie effect through a YouTube video, but if you haven't tried out 3D, I highly recommend giving it a go. There are quite a few movies that have a 3D release. They are all Blu-ray, so no 4K 3D movies, but that doesn't seem to make a difference to the experience as you're more focused on just enjoying it. I have found that animated 3D movies do seem to perform a little better than the live action ones, but both are still pretty awesome when you settle down in the recliner. Forget about the glasses, it's a pretty cool experience that I'm glad to have been wrong about. The next thing I wanted to discuss about the LTV 3000 Pro is the picture quality and just how good it stacks up with a conventional projector. I am testing in ideal conditions with a full light controlled room, and probably the biggest thing to note about this specific model is the focus uniformity. UST projectors have a tendency to either favor top or bottom when it comes to sharp focus, with sometimes having to pick a softer image to get it uniform across the top and the bottom. With the LTV 3000 Pro, however, it is tack sharp in all corners, which is more like a long throw projector. Another benefit of the LTV 3000 Pro is a nice bright display, and even though it's a DLP light source, which often does struggle a little bit with contrast and black levels, there is plenty of detail in the dark areas of the image without that usual grey tinge that can creep in from having a DLP light source. There are a lot of preset options as well for calibration controls for using a sensor to dial the image in, and one of the best things about the LTV 3000 Pro is the menu system. It's really easy to use and navigate, and more polished than some of the other UST projectors that I've tested in the past. If you're interested in seeing a full breakdown of the LTV 3000 Pro, you can check the card above or check the link in the description as I go into a lot more detail about this specific projector, and I have links also in the description so that you can check pricing and where to buy one. So as I mentioned earlier, I got the idea for this video from all of the questions that I've been asked about whether or not to buy a UST or a standard throw projector. And I thought, considering the LTV 3000 Pro was such a standout projector for me, that I would use it to answer those questions and what I think is now the benchmark in UST projectors. That isn't to say that any other brand or model is no good, but the picture quality, the focus uniformity, the 3D support, and the overall quality of the LTV 3000 Pro really gives me the confidence to say that in 2024, you could definitely consider a UST projector for your dedicated space, as well as a casual media room or TV replacement. I'm not discussing pricing as a factor here because there are big swings in that area for both UST and standard throw projectors. I'm more basing my opinion on the fact that I feel that the technology has reached a level of maturity that now makes it more viable than it has been in the past. If you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, why not give it a thumbs up? And also, if you want to connect with other like-minded home theater enthusiasts, I do have a Discord server which has been growing slowly over the last few years, and we have such an awesome community on there with people sharing ideas and helping each other out. I have links down in the description. It's 100% free to join. Anyway guys, thanks again for watching, but that's it for this one. You'll catch me in the next one. Bye for now.